photography is kind of a solitary thing. You know, you go out on your own, you take pictures. It's kind of difficult to find a community around it, especially if you're not based in New York or London or a big city in the world. So we felt that we should start some kind of community. So we created a Discord, a Patreon. We created a place for people to catch up with each other from different countries, do meetups. And one of the big things that's part of this is the monthly street assignment. So every month we create an assignment for people to follow, and they submit images at the end of the month following a certain theme. I think some of our favorites so far have been, I think the summertime one we did last year was really good.
That was so good. Love that one. Yeah, and we've made a couple of these videos now, haven't we, where we look at some of our favorite submissions. And today we're going to look at one of our recent challenges, which was fill the frame. We asked people to go out and fill the frame. Fill the frame with what, you might say? Whatever works, whatever makes it a banging street photo.
Fill the frame with life, right? Like that's what you should be doing, I guess. So we're looking for assignments like that this month. So what we're going to do is just take a look at the gallery that we have. So all of the submissions that people have sent in, we're going to take a look at them and just talk about what we like about them, right?
Absolutely. Let's go. So I opened up the gallery on our website, frame-lines.com. And here's our street assignment 15, fill the frame. I think we might as well kick off with this cover image from Nelson Arguello, right? Let me go down and open it up because it's a beaut.
I think this is one of my favorite submissions of everything we've had so far. Like this assignment has been great, right? Like the quality of submissions is really high.
I always just love seeing how people approach it. Obviously, not everyone's going to approach it in the same way. The community is all around the world as well, so you just have different cities have different like color schemes and different like aesthetics as well. So this is obviously quite clearly New York, right? I think I should say quite clearly, and I'm not sure. It looks like a subway station, but yeah, the red backdrop, the lady in the red coat looking straight at the camera as well. And then framed either side with the bollard and the person in yellow.
One of the things I think that helps with photos like this, and you'll see it in Alex Webb photos, but those kind of deep shadows, like if you see the woman in the red coat, like her face, the shadow just falls off straight to black. And I think that helps create these shapes throughout frames like this. And I think it makes it easier to digest because there's often like so much information in these like fill the frame type photos. But if you can like just push dark areas to black, it makes it easier to look at. It makes it more pleasing, I think, right?
It does. It makes it very graphic, doesn't it? In that way it looks. It's very punchy.
What did you expect to see when we first thought about this assignment to give to people? What kind of photos did you expect to see?
Yeah, like wide angle landscape, something where your eye travels across the frame, taking in little details. Maybe there's like almost like more than one narrative in the photograph. There's different, like this one by Karlynne Wintels. I mean, there's like 3 separate moments going on within the photo, right? There's also the little fun element of fill the frame and it being loads of sunglasses frames. And there's the mirror is acting as a frame as well. And then, I mean, there's just so much to unpack in this one, like sort of like mirroring hand gestures. Also, when you talk about what I was expecting to see, definitely this very deep depth of focus that the last 2 images have used as well, right?
This reminds me of, on Portobello Road, you have all these mirrors in the market. Like I'm always trying to get photos like this.
I've been trying to get a photo like this for like 10 years on Portobello Market and haven't come close. This one's so good.
It's good. And I think like what really makes this work is just the young girl's face in the lower left of the frame, right? And the fact that she's like looking up towards everyone else.
I just think, yeah, I've said this a few times before, like, but a successful photo these days when there's so many pictures out there is like just one you want to look at for more than a couple of seconds, right? This one, you can look at it for ages. What about this one from Scott Little?
I like the flow of the frame from left to right. And you've got, you know, all the heads are descending down and then flowing back up again. It's quite cool.
So much of the frame is the architecture, the, dare I say, juxtaposed architecture of the city and the more modern buildings. But then, yeah, this dynamic scene unfolding in the front as well. It's just quite a complete photograph, isn't it?
Do you want to pull up one? I've just spotted one here. So if you scroll down, yeah. So what I like about this is, I think with a lot of photo submissions, people fill the frame with people, right? And they try and cram as many people into the frame as possible. I think that's really, really difficult because when people are walking, you know, trying to get people's legs aligned and trying to get heads and like figure separation, I think it's really difficult to get a pleasing frame like that. But if you start working with objects, like I like the way the frame is divided here. So you have the car kind of filling up almost 3/4 of the frame. But then you have the kid looking directly into the camera and like this perfect separation here. And the way the kind of color is separate too, like the green in the background behind the guy in the middle. I think it looks really good. And then the gestures from each person in the frame looks really cool. I really like that one. I think that's one of my favorites.
Nice use of the aspect ratio as well. I think it's 4:3, isn't it, as well? There's like, it just, if it was 3:2, there might be a bit too much space either side, maybe some wall and more of the car, but it works very nicely in kind of keeping it tight.
There's one just under that as well. See, under it to the left, the black and white photo. It looks like Notting Hill, I think.
It looks like Carnival, yeah. Oh,
yeah, it does.
Incredible, this.
Isn't it? Yeah, I love that one. It's little things like the way the light is falling on that bottle of little orange juice and just the way the light's catching that. And, you know, especially the way the light is catching the most prominent figure and his expression, the way his gaze. It's really interesting. And then the exhaustion behind him. And then like the way they're all framed by hands and legs. I think that's really cool.
It's just, when you think about the mood of Carnival and like the atmosphere and the noise and the use of the black and white and the light, it becomes this, it feels like a really quiet photo in a way to me. Whereas I know if I was there, it would literally be ear splitting. It's quite interesting. It's very like a little quiet moment in a bit of chaos. Really nice one, Stephen. I'm excited for Carnival now in a couple of weeks. I really do like this one from Alfonso Alves, Neto. It looks like, I've been watching the Olympics, the gymnastics, the last few days, and they've been doing this like this thing where they've played back the somersaults, but then like a freeze frame in between each move. It kind of reminds me of that. I always really wanted to get a good photo of someone jumping into the sea. I just think it's just a nice vibe. But this also just reminds, so I was photographing a kite festival on the weekend and I was taking a few pictures, but just not really getting it. And then I suddenly was like, oh, I need to just squat down and make the angle more dramatic. And I think that's really applicable here. Like just the difference, just getting a slightly lower angle does to the image, like getting that silhouette in the sky. It could really transform a photo from being a bit meh to like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah, like just framing them against the sky, especially if you have a wider angle. Like I've noticed that, like just walking down Oxford Street, like the difference between like moving the camera 6 inches lower, and it's just much easier to frame people against like a clean backdrop of the sky instead of like the ground, which is usually cluttered with signage and rubbish and people's feet and different colored clothing and stuff. So this one's great. And of course, you know, you got the saxophone player on the left. So you got it's like a depth happening here, which I think is something that, you know, if I'm to be critical of like a lot of photos in this street assignment, I think maybe not working with depth is something that maybe people missed. Like I find that in just looking through them, it seems to be like one level of people, whereas this really works with like someone like really prominent in the foreground and then people in the background. And that's something that's really hard to do, isn't it?
Layers, yeah, it is tricky. And yeah, I mean, you're a bit restricted by the light, I guess. If you're on a summer's day like this, like you say, you can go f8, f16. You may not be used to using a wide angle lens as well. It's a tough one. But then, do you think he's playing Careless Whisper or Baker Street? Did you have any others you wanted to? I do like this portrait one from Luke Kenny. This was from the Flaneur Walk in London. I think a few people from the Framelines community went there to take pictures. Nice use of the hands at the bottom and the top of the frame. Nice moment with him taking a drag of the cigarette. Nice flow of the hats.
This is the kind of thing I didn't really expect to see with this assignment. I thought everyone would be shooting landscape 3x2. So it's interesting to see a photographer who's maybe used to shooting a bit longer, like 50 mil, which I think Luke uses.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see someone like that try to fill the frame vertically, because I think that's something that's really overlooked. And if you look at pictures by Henri Cartier-Bresson, how he fills the frame vertically is super interesting. Like there's a photo of him at like the king's birthday or something like that. You know that photo, right? Where there's a guy sleeping in a pile of...
It's in Trafalgar Square, isn't it?
Yeah. And then above him, there's like the people cheering. And he's got a bunch of photos like that. So filling the frame vertically is maybe something that people don't really do that much anymore. So this one makes me think of that. And another one, which is like a similar technique. If you go back to that Luke Kenny shot, just under it.
This one.
That one.
Dan Walker.
Yeah, I think that's great. You know, the way he's framed 4 individuals there. And, you know, he's shooting through a section of this fence. So he's like framing them through that, but then he's got this vertical kind of structure to it. It's kind of interesting.
Strange, isn't it? I would normally think like, oh, don't overlap people. But then here it kind of works.
Yeah. I think it works because their faces are in opposite directions.
Should we do one more and then look at some weather?
Yeah. Or maybe like speed through a couple more. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah. We talk about Anne Graack quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah, she's great. Where's she based? Like, is she in Brighton or something? Bristol,
Brighton,
maybe?
yeah. This is the photo of someone in Brighton jumping into the water.
There you go. You can do that tomorrow. That's great, man, isn't it?
It's just that hand on the right-hand side really makes it. Just grabbing the arm. So good.
And, like, what's happening? Like, there's a fist coming through, like, overlapping that guy's head perfectly. It's kind of weird looking. And the way the kid is subframed between the arms there.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, I love that. I love the expression on the girl in the foreground, the way her hair is flowing. And then the guy just leaping off with complete abandon. That's great.
You could say it's maybe not necessarily filling the frame if Anne hadn't included this element of like the pier on the right, on the left even.
Yeah.
Just to give you that extra bit of like context and that extra bit of framing. So it's not just infinite on the left-hand side.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it would have been so easy to crop out that pier, but then you wouldn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Great one. Yeah, that hand, so good. This one from Viktar Skurat is really nice, right? Really nice use of framing, nice flow of people.
This one, you can kind of tell from this one that he was probably hanging around for a good couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes, just waiting for people to walk into the right area of the frame, right? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Really thinking about like separating the subjects, really thinking about people's strides. Yeah. Just the choice of like the shadow of the like lantern in the top corner, like really thinking about the corners as well, and like lines as well. Very important. Everything's been quite meticulously placed, I think. So I feel like, he was stood here for a little bit, taking a few shots, I think.
That was our street assignment, fill the frame. So we're going to take a look at the weather assignment now.
I popped this one as the banner image. I'm just a sucker for people using umbrellas in that like period when it's both rainy and sunny at the same time. I like that like uncanniness to it. Like it just doesn't look right. And then real dramatic double rainbow going into the sea, aligned with the sort of bin. It's cool, right? I really like this one.
Yeah, I think the double rainbows is really cool. And you can see how the composition works with that double rainbow. So
Mm.
you've got like 3 arcs in the frame. It's kind of cool.
I just like it was a weather assignment, and Abigail was like, "I'm going to give you rain, sunshine, rainbows."
All the weather.
Yeah, exactly right.
I thought we got some great ones for this assignment.
I really like this one from Jon Taylor. I'm a bit of a sucker for small dogs looking into the camera. Nice low angle. I like his choice of colors as well. It's not like over the top. It's just very like relying on the color palette of the seafront on Brighton, you know.
This one's kind of got it all, right? It's like, so you got the summertime weather, and the dog itself as the subject of the photo is like perfect. That's a great photo of a dog. But then everything else in the frame really works too, because you've got the cans of beer on the left, and like the frozen drink, and all the people on the left, and the sense of depth that you're going down the beach. And then you got the stripes going up in a diagonal like that, and the blue from the stripes. So you've got all the detail giving you a sense of place. It's a great photo. It's definitely one of my favorites from this assignment.
Nice one, John. So this one from Vincent Villeger. We had a few submissions this time around, people using like advertisements or like hoardings as part of the frame. More than I anticipated, actually. I really like what he's done here with the yellow ponchos. Really nice coincidence with the colors.
So you got the color matching between the advertising and the people wandering through rainy London. But then you've got like that juxtaposition between the summertime yellow and, I mean, technically it's summertime in London, but they're very different kind of weather. So you got that juxtaposition of weather between the two, which is really cool.
He's chosen to leave in the caution trip hazard thing on the left-hand side. There's another little pop of yellow. I can't help but wonder, you can see behind that main person, the poncho, it looks like there is someone wearing white. Like if they'd been able to be, it's just luck, I guess. But if that person was wearing like head to toe white as well, so you would have had even more matching in what people are wearing, you know.
So if you scroll down to about 3/4, there's 2 people bent over in a collapsed tree.
Oh, they're drinking from water fountains, right? I was looking at this trying to work out what was going on. I thought they were like inspecting the fallen trees, or there's like a pile of rubbish as well.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know what was happening here, and it just looked funny. Also, like considering weather in this way as well is kind of interesting, because it's not an obvious weather thing, but clearly the weather's already been there and it's knocked over the tree, so it's kind of cool.
Nice one, Eric. Thank you. And this one from Mark Luke Grant. Just a dude enjoying the sunshine, inside all day in his office in London. Stepped out to catch some rays. The McDonald's bag as well makes it. This could almost be an ad, I think.
I mean, this works perfectly with the center framing, the low angle, the expression on his face, the light. Yeah, it just screams summertime after work.
Nicely done, Mark. Should we do one more?
Yeah, so this one by Karlynne Wintels. Yeah, she's great. Like, I think in almost every assignment, we've picked a photo of hers that we really like, and this one's great. You know, you got a sense of weather. You got the juxtaposition between the mural in the background and the lady in the foreground. Yeah, it's a great match. A great eye to see this.
Nicely done. So that was the weather gallery, probably one of my favorite galleries we've done so far. I can't believe we've done 16 assignments now. 17 has just gone live, hasn't it? Which is the color red. That won the poll on Discord. Sounds a bit random, but I guess we just thought about how like so many iconic street photographs have all had like a pop of red in them. And people also wanted to give that a go, so it won the poll. So that's the August assignment. So depending on when you're watching this, you may be able to take part.
I think that's an interesting one as well, because we kind of realize that the more broad we are with these street assignments, I think the better the submissions are. Like, all we really want to do is just give someone something to focus on, because when you leave your house with your camera in the morning. The whole world's in front of you. You're not quite sure what to focus on, what to photograph. But if you go out there with the intention of only photographing subjects that are red, or having like red with a degree of prominence in the frame, I think it gives you something to focus on. I'm looking forward to seeing submissions for that one.
Yeah. We'll leave Instagram handles for everyone's work we've mentioned in this video in the description below.
So if you want to join this assignment, if you're up for the challenge and you want to join this August assignment, which is shooting around the color red, just go to our website, which is frame-lines.com, and have a look at the page here, have a look at the street assignments, see what you think about it, and join up. Just click join this assignment. It's super easy. And then you get access to our Discord, where we have a channel where we talk about the assignment, we give some advice, and we create guides around shooting each assignment as well. Yeah, so that's about it. So see you next time.
See you next time. Had to get the last word.